Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another bin review. Nearly a bin review there, a beer review. It's been a few days, so you've had a little bit of a break from me. And in this one, it's obviously you would have seen the title by the time I'm doing this, but it's more of a review of one beer and then doing a comparison with its official beer, if you like. So what we're looking at today, we are looking at one of Aldi's copy beers, if you like, and we are taking a look at their Boa beer, 4.5%, 660ml bottle, and I think this was £1.49 from Aldi's. Now, you've probably got a rough idea what beer we are going to compare it with. It's original one, and we are going to give it a little bit of a comparison to the original Cobra. This one is in a 620ml bottle, coming in at 4.9%, so that's been dropped for definite. And I think that was £1.80 or £1.90 from Sainsbury's or wherever I picked it up from. Even maybe the one stop over the road, actually. Yeah, 3 for £5.50. So that's coming on the 3 for £5.50 deal. It's coming at about £1.83. So I think normally about £2.20 actually. Thinking about it, but it's coming at about £1.83. So there's about 30p difference in beer. That is 0.4% lower in alcohol, but it does have another 40ml in the bottle. So Cobra branding, the Cobra bottle cap. There's the old Boa branding for Aldi's, and it's just a plain silver bottle cap. So let's get these cracked open. And what I will do is I will compare the Boa one first. Really, I'll review that. And then I'll top it up, and then we'll do the Cobra, and we'll just do a little bit of a comparison as well. So I don't have Cobra glasses, so I'm going to whack them in these two Gosser glasses, which I don't believe I've used yet. So yeah, I thought I'd grab them. So let's get it open and give it a go. I know a few people have done the Boa. I don't think I've seen any reviews though, if I'm brutally honest. But we'll crack on with it. So, definitely getting a bit of a skunky, weedy smell. Not very nice, to be honest. It's that typical sort of almost nasty hop aroma, if you like. So, beer in a glass. It's nucleated the glass. It's golden in colour. Quite a sort of deep golden colour. Lots of bubbles going up, as you can see. And we've got a nice sort of two-finger compact white head. So it looks like a beer, looks like you'd expect it to look, I suppose. So let's dive in on the nose, see what we get off the nose. Yeah, and you're still getting that, again, similar to the sort of Prama one that I done. You do get that weedy, skunky sort of smell in there. It is fading a bit. Then behind that malty, I'm going to say a little bit bready. And maybe not so bready now, it's wet, that sort of side of it's wearing off. Malty, a little bit average really, a little bit like every other sort of beer. I bet you could put this up against the Prama and you wouldn't tell any difference. Anyway, enough sniffing, let's dive in. Let's go in on Aldi's Boa beer, the Cobra copy, 4.5%, cheers. I don't think that's too bad, really. Don't think that's too bad. Let's get the review done. %4.5%. Not a heavy beer. Well carbonated. So it's going to be another one of them reviews where there might be a few bubbles coming back up to add to the video, shall we say. It is well carbonated, but it's definitely smoother in the mouth than what you get the impression of, you know, what you think it would be like in the mouth. You'd think with all them bubbles it'd be a lot rougher. But it is pretty smooth in the mouth. It's refreshing. It's pretty clean, I think. I think it's got quite a nice mouthfeel as well. I'd say it's pretty soft as well, to be fair, considering there are all these bubbles and it's not the heaviest of mouthfeels, bodies on the beer. But that's pretty good, really. I'm going to save that a bit till after. Let's give it some tasting notes. The more I drink, malty, a little bit sweet, a little bit sort of bready. There is maybe a hint of a little sort of citrus note in there, that typical sort of lemon citrus thing you get with a lager. No bitterness to it. Clean and crisp, goes down really well. 4.5%. I think that drink's quite nice. 4.5%. Yeah, you don't get the alcohol, of course you don't. But it's not wishy-washy like some of these other lagers that I don't know, even sort of anywhere from sort of like 4% to 4.5%. They can be a little bit wishy-washy. That's pretty decent, I think. Yeah, I think that's quite a decent beer. Not going to rave about it, but for something in a big bottle, £1.49. I think that's all right. There's worse out there. And to me, just off the top of my head, I think it does resemble a Cobra. But it's been a while, I think, since I've had a Cobra. Excuse me, some of the bubbles coming back. So, let's get the original Cobra cracked open. I'll tell you what, I do like the bottle. It's sort of like got an Indian sort of ribbed for your pleasure thing on the bottle. As you can tell, that was a green one. This one's in a brown bottle, so hopefully should be better. 4.9%, but a little bit less in it. So we'll get this poured in and we'll do a bit of a comparison. And for me, this looks lighter already. And again, that was the same with the Prama actually, but the Prama was lighter than the Star of Prama. The Star of Prama was darker. Whereas this one looks a little bit lighter, but we'll get the rest of this poured in and we'll see what we get. Some kind of lump in there, or I got a bit of dirt in there, I don't know. That's pretty bad if I have. Anyway, Boa on the left, Cobra on the right. Beers in a glass, there we go. So, am I going to stick with my original thing on the looks? Oh, it's a tough one. I do think the original Cobra is a touch lighter. The bubbles are more or less the same, if you like. Well, the head on the beers are more or less the same. This didn't create so much of a head on it, but there is still some in there, so we'll get a bit more in there. So I think the Cobra's a little bit lighter. It's a little bit less carbonated than the Boa, but they look pretty much identical. And bear in mind, I just topped this one up. This is a fresh glass. This has sort of died down a bit, but the head's very similar looking. So let's go in on the nose with the Cobra and see. Yeah, there's none of that sort of skunkiness that I was getting, or that nasty sort of hop aroma. None of that there. There's not a massive amount on the nose, if I'm totally honest. A lot more maltier for me on the nose, the Boa. There is a maltiness in the nose. Again, maybe a little sort of lemon citrus note, but not an awful lot in there. So let's dive in, give the old Cobra a taste, go in on the Boa and see how it compares. Cheers. I think I know which one I'm going to prefer straight away. Let's go in on the Boa now. For me, straight away, certainly on the taste wise, the only comparison is more on the back end of this one. But let's sort of do a quick review thing. Yeah, even though this is more maltier, the Boa one. But I think the Cobra has a slightly better body on it. Not a massive difference, but there is just that little bit of a heavier body for me on the Cobra. Less carbonated. So although you can still see, you hopefully can still see bubbles going up in the middle, it's a lot smoother, a lot softer. It's not going to fill you up with gas as much as the Boa. And smoother as well. So looks wise, although there's not much difference, it doesn't make a lot of difference really, does it, on the looks? But I think this Cobra just being a little bit lighter gives it a nicer sort of look to me. The body is slightly better on the Cobra, and although it's not a massive difference, you just notice that slightly better body, less carbonation. Again, although this is quite smooth and the body isn't terrible, it's not quite up to the Cobra for me. On the taste, excuse me, on the taste for me, we're going on the Cobra first, once the bubbles stop. A little bit less malty. A nice little citrus note in there. For me, it's a lot cleaner, it's a lot crisper, it drinks better. The Boa one is more malty for me. You pick the maltiness up more, which gives it a slightly sweeter edge, a little bit stickier, if you like. It's not as clean, although it is clean and crisp, and it's refreshing. Again, tiny little differences make it worlds apart from the original Cobra. 4.9%. This Cobra has a little bit of a bitter, a little bit of bite on the back end, which I don't think you get from the Boa. Oh, maybe you do. Yeah, maybe you do get that little bit. But again, the Cobra is just that little bit better in all areas. I do prefer the 4.9% of the Cobra, although it's not anything that you really massively notice. I just think it just shows it up. It just holds up better when you drink it. So for me, although the Boa isn't the worst beer I've ever drunk, it's not that bad. And at £1.49 for a 660ml bottle, that's really cheap. I could be wrong actually, it could have been £1.99, but I'm going to go with £1.49. Although it's not that bad, you really can tell the difference between the Boa and the original Cobra. There's only little differences, but them little differences all the way through the beer, with the body, the carbonation, some of the flavours, the smoothness, to me it just makes it worlds apart. So would I recommend giving that a go? For starters, yeah, give it a go. 4.5%, 660ml, £1.49, I think. Give it a go. It's well worth a try. But if we're going to look at which one is the better beer, Cobra wins it hands down. A much better drinking experience. And to be honest, after drinking that, I think it's after drinking that and then drinking this after it, I think that the Boa really makes this stand out even more. So for me, yeah, Cobra beats the Aldi Boa. If you've had both beers, let me know what you think. What do you think is the best one out of both of them? But that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've tried to make it short. Haven't succeeded. And I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers, guys.